always creating illusions, this one.
We are live, Joey. Live. We are on my YouTube channel, my X channels. You can take a look at them. One of them is Walk Again. We're live on Transparency and Merit, both my YouTube channel and my X, formerly known as Twitter. Also, my other X channels. I hope my other X channels, Walk Against the Woke, which is Walk Woke, and then Mr. Midnight Movie. On those Twitter channels, we will be live. So this is it, man. Joey, do you remember where you were when you heard the verdict? Or do you want to start when you heard, like when you were aware, or the Bronco chase? Do you remember where you were when you saw him being in the Bronco with Al Cowlings?
I remember, it was yesterday. In fact, it's so clear to me. Like, I can't remember anything, but I'll tell the story. I was a valet parker at the House of Blues on Sunset in Hollywood, and we had some pretty interesting clients as it was, but the Bronco drove right past the House of Blues on my shift. It was absolutely insane. Not many people can say that they saw the Bronco that day. I did.
Well, I'll say this. Yeah, I mean, I remember I was watching in front of my TV. I wasn't scheduled to work that day, and unbelievable. And yeah, it was.
You probably could have caught a peek too if you were looking for it.
I mean, I just remember seeing all these people who drove in under the underpass, like when he was driving with head signs, honk OJ or whatever.
And yeah, there's Al Cowling, right? Was driving, and he was just.
Yeah.
I thought it was just so weird. Like, what are they doing?
Well, and right now, a lot of this is speculation and memory of what happened, and I know that it happened. I mean, the verdict happened, I believe, in 1994.
Yes, it's okay to have an opinion on OJ at this point. He dead.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, well, some people are very sensitive about that issue. Some people are really emotional about that issue. And again, there are people here. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. And they said, well, the gloves didn't fit. Well, it's easy to make a glove not fit, as you can see here. Like, I mean, like, I'm pointing out here. All you got to do is put your thumb like this way, and then struggle not fitting.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. We can make anything not fit. I mean, gloves are probably the easiest thing to make not fit. And yeah, he was struggling with those gloves, and then people, I guess some people bought into that. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Right.
And some people, there was one Twitter page that said that it was the start of woke culture because saying the N-word instead of saying the full whatchamacallit, the whole thing with not saying, even under the context of like it being a legal word and stuff. Because I know that when they said they found, like, I believe hair follicles, they said they found negroid. It was negroid is what they said. And then they said, well, African American, we don't use that word. And they said, well, black. And they said, no, these are specific words that we use. And right. I don't know how much the vernacular changed, but I know that uh, it was something that the
He was a
court.
game changer. He definitely changed culture. It was OJ was a big, big thing, and it's still, even to this day, I think, yeah, kind of interesting how that works.
And it really hasn't changed white culture that much because, I mean, there are jurors who said, well, there was one person on the jury who said we did it because of Rodney King, that we voted him innocent. And also Hughley, is it T.L. Hughley? Or H.L. What was it? H.L. Hughley. He also said the same thing, and that's kind of a racial vendetta mindset. And
Right.
Rodney King did not die from the beating. He was resisting arrest, and he was a degenerate criminal. And back in the day, whether you were white or you're black, people didn't have that kind of empathy for degenerate criminals.
No, they didn't.
And Wilford Brimley
They
says,
didn't.
"Rest in piss, OJ." Which I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I mean, again,
From where you are, it's it's a hop skip over to Brentwood,
yeah.
where this alleged murder occurred. For the record, in my view, the whole thing is no different. I know what you're going to say. Is no no different from the Manson case or any other. If you look at the top of OJ's resume, what you will find is actor. And if there's one guy that could have pulled off such a daring theatrical event, it would be he.
Well,
Yeah, loved by both. He was a crossover star. Remember, this was not. He was an unusual type. I can't really think of many from that. I don't know. You probably would know more names of the actors and stuff that were crossover hit. Made crossover hits in both. You know, all black films and then like the mainstream, or not just necessarily all black, but like lower budget films and then like
well,
mainstream Hollywood.
he was in the Towering Inferno. He had a small part in there. And then I remember him in the made-for-TV movie Goldie and the Boxer, and they did that twice, and it was kind of enjoyable. What other? Now I understand, and these are films that he.
Interestingly, he was in one of my favorite movies, which I'm gonna forget the name. It was oh man, uh, it was a great movie. I don't know, one
It
of
was
my
an astronaut film.
the movie about the faked the astronauts that
Yeah,
faked going to space. Oh
yeah,
man, what was
and
that one
then,
called? It's on the tip of my tongue, but it'll come.
I know exactly the film you're talking about, and that was that 1970. Let me take a look here. Let me take a look at his. Let me see here.
Did not have a very profound role in that movie for some reason. I'm not sure why.
And I'm trying to look at his movie. Like yeah. But I know the movie you're talking about now. I'm looking for that, but I remember that the name of that astronaut film that he was in. Um, but he wanted the part, from my understanding, the role of Ragtime. I think the guy with the main character, T.J. Walker. I think he wanted that role.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, but Capricorn 1,
Yeah,
1977. God,
and
I
that
must
came
be
out
getting
the same year as Star Wars. It wasn't but it was, and that was much more of a, because Star Wars is a fantasy film. Capricorn 1 was really a
dude. It was
sci-fi.
a complete conspiracy theory, like story, like out of nowhere. Um, God, it's so amazing to me that Did people think this was pure Hollywood? They didn't think anything like that was possible, I guess.
Well, I mean, anything out of the mind of Hollywood.
Elliot Gould. Yeah, well, with Elliot Gould, what a cast. James Brolin,
Yeah,
Sam Waterston, and
yeah,
OJ.
and O.J. Simpson. Yeah, so
Hal Holbrook was in that film.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and
So that was some big budget for that time.
yeah. For me, I gather that a moment of anger, you know, and the possibility that he did it, a moment of anger can really set you back for the rest of your life.
Oh, you're
Jealousy,
talking about right, the
yeah,
event.
jealousy and anger.
Yeah, come on. To actually pull the trigger and do something like that,
You think human beings aren't
and the
capable of
fact
doing
that he
it?
just,
You think human beings aren't capable of
I don't know.
doing such things?
I don't know any. It just, what I'm saying is, in my day-to-day life, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I think those are extreme cases. This guy was loved worldwide. Like, what? I just don't see it. I could see the emotions that could run that high, but to go
I mean,
through with that sort of act in the way it was actually, I don't know if you know the details, but yeah, it's pretty grim, gruesome scene over there in Brentwood.
yeah, it sure was.
Uh,
Um, but
it just
I
doesn't
mean,
seem logical to me. But anyways,
there were very few times where I'd gotten in a fight, and if I'd have had something handy, like, and these were with
you
males.
wouldn't have no way. Come on. I mean, how angry are we talking? I mean, were they
I was kicked in the face, and I was really angry. And if I'd had something handy, actually, I was kicked in the shoulder, and then it got off to my face. And if I had had something handy, like a knife or something, I might have used it.
right? But you're
I,
talking about defending, a physical, right? Actual physical boundary that was broken. I mean, that's pretty
I
heavy.
mean,
Yeah, I can get that. Self defense, and
the
as a
thing is,
passive, yeah, you step on my property, you're dust. Like, don't fuck with me in that way. But yeah,
well, uh,
that's a different emotion altogether.
but it gets me thinking. It gets me thinking that every just about every violent encounter I got into, primarily as an adult, not as a child, but as an adult and as a becoming adult adolescent, I could have avoided every physical confrontation I got into, and I chose to let my ego and pride get the better of me. And
But in any of those cases, was it a fight to the death? Were you going to slaughter them all over the sidewalk?
you know what? You could kill someone with. I mean, people have been known to kill somebody with their bare hands and punch somebody. There have been instances of a one-punch homicide, and it's better to avoid conflict for the most part. I mean, there are times when there is no avoiding it, but it's better to avoid conflict. And jealousy should not, you shouldn't play the role of jealousy. Uh, I mean, I'll get into the cultural things later and the racial dynamics a little bit later. I think there is a part of me still believes in white guilt and
You got to want to believe that.
racial. I mean, it's a part of wokeness is white guilt and black racial vendetta and the abuse of whites, because there are a lot of people out there who do believe that whites deserve punishment. And this was a very, like to hear that from D.L. Hughley saying this is for Rodney King seems a rather cruel and callous and egocentric side to him, and a very myopic side, if he believes that. Now, if you honestly in your heart don't believe that O.J. Simpson did it, you know, and you're not hyperbolic and this and that. I mean, you come from a place of where you've looked into it and examined it. I haven't examined it that much. I still, from the evidence that I see in front of me, I believe he did it, and I believe
Mhm.
that the jury was
Oh, I
emotionally.
respect that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
respect that entirely. Like people all day today, like I got a lot of text messages, of course, from mostly from family who are like, he didn't die soon enough type of thing. You know,
yeah,
I get it.
but
It's everywhere.
yeah,
I
when
get like 99.9% of the people are taking
yeah,
sides.
yeah, and my opinion on that is, from what I've seen and what I've examined, but honestly, I haven't examined it enough. I mean, and this may be my lazy part. I haven't examined it enough.
Well, you okay. You watch a lot of stories from the news, and this is where we get our information from. And the programming runs deep. I mean, you know how it goes. The whole thing. Television is just a very powerful drug, a very powerful tool, and it really dug in not that long ago. I mean, we're talking about 2 generations back, three generations back, and so yeah, I get it.
I mean, this was almost 30 years ago that this happened, or was it 30
Yeah,
years?
right.
Was this in
Yeah,
April that it, was it in April that it happened? So it's like a couple days. Yeah, I mean, it will be the 30th anniversary of the verdict, and we saw the racial divide amongst many Americans, and I know that it was primarily black. I mean, there were blacks on the jury. There was one white person and a few Latinos. And again, I feel that there are emotional heartstrings and tugs that are pulled on there that were able to manipulate the jury, in my opinion. I was really upset when I first heard it. And again, I still believe that woke leftism promotes white guilt and black racial
true.
villainy.
And
I just,
I'll go back to back. I guess even in my most, kind of, this happened what late '90s.
94. So it'll be 30
Okay,
years. I believe it was 94 that it happened.
yeah, it was '94. It makes sense. And wow, um, just even then I was kind of like, wow, this is. I'm trying to think of how I was back then towards this story. I just always thought it was kind of weird, and I was never really one of those like OJ's a murderer kind of guys. I couldn't get into it, even though I felt, if anything, I guess he would have been guilty. I don't know.
Yeah, well, uh, yeah, I mean, he was a wealthy man, and when you're wealthy, you're able to get away with it. You can you can use the system to your benefit,
For
and
sure.
certainly that is the way it goes. And 2020, we saw a lot of things happen. I don't want to get into a lot of them, but that seem to be very unjust. And I think that there are people that need to, particularly during the riots, and people that should have known better. And there are people, in my opinion, that need to pay a price for the some of the behaviors that they've done.
Stop the insanity.
Stop the insanity.
Stop it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell anyone on this. And again, I listened to I listened to a few things on this, and there is a lot of hyperbolic on the left side, on the pro-black side. There is a lot of hyperbolic and myopic.
Is it
Uh,
still like a hot issue, the OJ thing? In your opinion?
Now that he's dead, it's a hot issue. And maybe I don't know when when in April or when in 1994 the verdict happened, but I certainly think it will be something to be discussed and to be talked about over time. And again, by the way, do you know that his father was a cross-dressing gay man who died, I believe, who died of AIDS in the 80s? Mm-hmm.
I have never heard that story. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, look him up. Look up O.J. Simpson's father. Yeah,
What?
he was a cross-dresser who died of AIDS. I think he was also a gay man. You know, I don't remember O.J. Simpson ever talking about his father. And there,
No.
by the way, I remember when you could look up things on YouTube about subjects and the algorithm, you could, and it was first to last and stuff. And that's been changed. You got to type in specific words. And I would say it's certain groups, nonprofits who believe, I guess, they don't want the average person to speak and talk. Hopefully we can get like another kind of YouTube. Hopefully Elon will build an X video platform where we can talk about subjects and it can go down the algorithm. Because again, I believe that human beings can decipher for themselves and decide good and bad information for themselves. If you believe that O.J. Simpson was guilty, tell me. If you believe he was innocent, tell me. Put it out there. And at the time, from just the limited information, when you leave your blood at the crime scene and your physical being at the crime scene, usually that's an open and shut case. And people believe that there was framing going on. I know that Alan Dershowitz believed that 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 there was police misconduct, and really there cannot be that kind of police. Like we can't have police misconduct when a case like this. So maybe a guilty man got free, but any kind of playing with evidence or anything like that can't happen. I mean, we do need law enforcement to make sure that they dot their I's and cross their T's on any given subject. I still believe that he's guilty, and I don't know. There is a part of me that his kids had to live with a person, and the grandparents also had to be around a person that they believe murdered their daughter, and Ron Goldman, the father of his parents, Ron Goldman's father, and I think it was his stepmother. I think the mother was out of the picture, but he was, I believe, he was grieved for the rest of his life.
Wow.
And it is what it is. When someone dies, I mean, and in that kind of fashion, it must be really.
Do we have any comments out there yet? I just see one.
Yeah.
It sounds like what my dad texted me.
Yeah. That's a waste of time. Just a bunch of. I mean, again, it's about anger and this and that.
Sure.
And again, anger. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all about the Stoic calm, man.
Yeah.
Not that she laughs.
If someone doesn't want to be with you, I mean, to me, if someone doesn't want to be with you, let it go.
Yeah. Move on.
Move on. Move on. And if someone disrespects you, move on. You don't have to fight them at all. And, like I said, you can get other people.
Don't look back.
Yeah, you can get other people as friends. Hopefully, if you think groups or other people aren't treating you well, you
Yeah,
can,
it's not. Yeah, it's a waste of time to, and we're just kind of riffing here, but it isn't it a total waste of time to kind of even worry about people who didn't or accept you for one reason. I mean, come on. I couldn't think of more of a reason to just move forward and find a better situation for myself in that case.
if somebody treats you badly,
Yeah, move the heck on.
or they break up with you, and they don't want to tell you why or whatever. I mean, there was a time when why did you do this to me? Yada yada yada, trying to track the person down, getting answers. When they leave you, they've told you everything you need to know.
Right.
Just move on. No
Move on.
reason for logic and reason. It's just
No.
time to move on, and
Yeah.
it's about like I said, it's about that anger. And I've been angry at the left, but again, they can choose to do what they want to do. Hopefully, I can choose to do what I want to do, and hopefully, I would like to successfully boycott a lot of woke nonprofits. I'm going to name them pretty soon. But my thing is, uh, all war is economic, including culture wars. And if people disrespect you, just don't go there. Take your ball and go home and play in another. Even if it's a worse court or a worse field, play somewhere else. Joey, do you have
Yeah.
any? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't have to. You know what, man? You don't have to stick around and tolerate abuse. You can leave. Hey,
That's
Joey,
right.
do you have
We're
anything to add? Yeah, do you have anything to add before I call this show a day?
well. I'm not seeing the comments yet. Come on, people.
Uh,
This
if
is
they come,
surely a topic that will bring out comments, right?
like
Like,
maybe we'll see comments later. But at this point
yeah,
in time, I don't want to.
I threw out a very I know I'm going to get panned. People are going to pan me like crazy for what I said.
They might,
I'm
but I
ready.
think there we go, Joey. I think it's time that we just call it a day. We've run out of things to say, and I mean I could say more, but you know what? There are better people who
Well,
are more prepared on this issue. I'm just saying, you know what? This was maybe a result of a person who was
eh,
angry.
it just dives right into the whole area where you got to start slapping labels on things, and it's just I think it's a topic better left where it is, dead.
I hear you. Anyway, let's call it a day. I mean, how about we call it a day, Joey? Anything to add before I end the show?
No, not at all. No, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you, whoever's out there.
Yeah, on the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below.
Yes.
Share this
What?
video with all of your friends, and hopefully things can be better. Anyway, I'm going to end it, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you for listening on all my social media.